Everyone thinks they know the 60s muscle car heroes, until these forgotten rockets show up and make the legends look like Sunday cruisers. Built in tiny numbers and tuned to embarrass the big names, they didn't just fly under the radar, they broke the radar and kept going. Top 1, 1967, Dodge Coronet, RT HEMI. Some muscle cars strutted around with loud stripes and wild spoilers. The 1967 Dodge Coronet RT HEMI didn't need the noise, it let the quarter-mile times do the talking. This was Dodge's refined-looking street assassin, built to humble anything foolish enough to pull alongside. The Coronet RT debuted in 1967 as Dodge's new performance flagship. It wore crisp B-body lines, a wide split grille with quad headlights and tasteful RT badging, a blend of muscle and maturity. A long hood and short deck profile gave it a purposeful stance, while subtle hood scoops hinted at hidden potential. Inside, drivers sat in high-back vinyl bucket seats with a full-length center console, wood-grain dash, and rally gauges, but the real star was under the hood. Chrysler's legendary R-Code 426 cubic inch Street HEMI V8, officially rated at 425 gross horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, it was fed by dual Carter 4-barrels and backed by either a heavy-duty A833 4-speed manual with Hurst shifter or the bulletproof TorqueFlite 727 automatic. Heavy-duty suspension, power front disc brakes, and a beefed-up 8.3/4-inch rear end made sure all that fury could reach the pavement. In 1967, Dodge built only 238 HEMI Coronet RT hardtops and a mere 3 convertibles, making the drop tops unicorns and the coupes highly desirable. With traction, these cars could run the quarter mile in the low 13s at over 105 miles per hour, elite numbers for the era. Today, well-documented hardtops can fetch $150,000 to $200,000, while the surviving convertibles are multi-million-dollar centerpieces in Mopar collections. The combination of understated looks and devastating performance has turned the '67 HEMI Coronet RT into one of the most respected sleepers of its decade. The Coronet RT HEMI was a double threat. It could deliver refined highway cruising and still launch hard enough to shock lighter rivals. Its rarity, especially in convertible form, has ensured collector demand remains high. Many survivors are restored to Concours condition, with every casting number, trim piece, and date code scrutinized by Mopar purists. Seeing one at a show, let alone hearing a HEMI idle, is an event in itself. And while Dodge's big body looked like a gentleman's express with a mean streak, Chevrolet in 1969 took the opposite route, building a bare-bones, full-size sedan with a fire-breathing 427 that could outrun almost anything on the street. Top 2, 1969, Chevrolet Biscayne 427L 72. In 1969, Chevrolet built a car that looked like it belonged in a government fleet, but packed enough firepower to terrorize the drag strip. The 1969 Chevrolet Biscayne 427 L72 was the definition of a sleeper, a full-size sedan with the heart of a race car. The Biscayne was Chevrolet's most stripped-down full-size model. No flashy trim, no plush interior, just plain steel and practicality. Fleet buyers loved them, but a few brave individuals walked into dealerships and special ordered theirs with the L72 427 cubic inch big block V8. On the outside, it was pure understatement: dogdish hubcaps, basic paint, and minimal chrome. Inside, vinyl bench seats, rubber floor mats, and a simple instrument panel kept things light. The L72, however, was no lightweight. It featured a solid lifter cam, high-flow heads, an 800 CFM Holy carburetor, and 11.1 compression, officially rated at 425 gross horsepower. Buyers could choose a 4-speed Muncie manual or a Turbo 400 automatic, both paired with a 12-bolt rear and positraction. Chevrolet built roughly 300 Biscayne L72s in 1969, and many went straight from the showroom to the drag strip. In stock form, they could rip the quarter mile in the low 13s, and with headers and slicks, they were capable of dipping into the 12s, shocking for a car that looked like a taxi. Today, surviving examples with original drivetrains can command $100,000 to $150,000, with documented Copo-ordered cars bringing even more. The combination of fleet car anonymity and devastating performance has made the L72 Biscayne one of the most intriguing Chevrolet muscle machines ever built. These cars lived hard lives, raced, modified, or scrapped once their glory days ended. As a result, genuine, numbers-matching examples are extremely scarce. When one surfaces at a major auction, it draws both muscle car enthusiasts and collectors who appreciate true sleepers. For many, the L72 Biscayne represents the ultimate expression of "don't judge a book by its cover." And while Chevrolet's full-size sleeper embarrassed plenty of rivals, Mercury in 1969 went a different route, crafting a purpose-built aerodynamic fastback to dominate NASCAR's high-speed ovals. Top 3, 1969, Mercury Cyclone, Spoiler 2. Some muscle cars were born for the drag strip. The 1969 Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 2, it was bred for NASCAR. A sleek, wind-cheating missile built not for comfort or flash, but for flat-out speed on America's fastest ovals. The Cyclone Spoiler 2 was Mercury's answer to Ford's Torino Talladega and Dodge's Charger 500. To homologate it for NASCAR, Mercury stretched the front end by 6 inches, reshaping the nose into a flush aerodynamic point. The grille was recessed, the bumper reworked, and the rocker panels rolled upward to reduce drag. The rear deck lid carried a modest spoiler, and bold two-tone paint schemes with racing stripes screamed factory race car. Inside, it was all business: vinyl bucket seats, a floor shifter, and simple gauge clusters. Under the hood sat the 428 Cobra Jet V8, rated at 335 gross horsepower, but delivering far more in reality, especially with its ram air induction and heavy-duty cooling. Buyers could opt for a 4-speed top-loader or C6 automatic, both feeding power to a 9-inch rear with traction lock. Only 519 Spoiler 2S were ever built, the exact number NASCAR required for homologation. In stock form, these cars could run the quarter mile in the low 14S, but their real talent was top-end speed, where the aero tweaks allowed them to stay stable well past 140 miles per hour. While they never achieved the same fame as the Plymouth Superbird or Charger Daytona, today they're cult favorites among aero war fans, with values climbing toward $80,000 to $120,000 for pristine, documented examples. Because they were essentially street-legal race cars, many Spoiler 2S were bought by hardcore enthusiasts and saw heavy use either at the track or as high-speed highway cruisers. Survivors with original paint and drivetrains are rare, and restoring one requires both patience and a network of fellow aero car collectors. Their mix of rarity, purpose-built design, and pure NASCAR heritage makes them a bucket list car for fans of the late 60s aero war. And while Mercury's wind-cheating Cyclone was born to slice through the air at Daytona, Oldsmobile in 1969 built a lightweight street fighter that proved cubic inches weren't the only way to run with the big boys. Top 4, 1969, Oldsmobile Cutlass W31. In a decade obsessed with cubic inches, Oldsmobile had the audacity to prove that a smaller displacement V8 could still strike fear at the stoplight. The 1969 Cutlass W31 was a precision-tuned street brawler, light, fast, and built to humble bigger-engined rivals. The W31 package transformed the otherwise mild-mannered F85 or Cutlass into a factory hot rod. The exterior was subtle, clean A-body lines, dual hood scoops, minimal chrome, and discreet W31 callouts on the fenders. Inside, buyers got a choice of bench or bucket seats, rally gauges, and a Hurst floor shifter. The magic, however, was under the hood. A 350 cubic inch rocket V8, specially built with high compression heads, a performance cam, and a quadrajet carburetor. It was officially rated at 325 gross horsepower, but the real secret was its featherweight nature and aggressive gearing, often paired with 4.331 positraction rear ends and heavy-duty suspension. Oldsmobile produced just 913 W31S in 1969, making them far rarer than most big-block muscle cars of the era. Despite its smaller displacement, a well-driven W31 could hit the quarter mile in the low 14S, and with ideal conditions, high 13S weren't out of reach. This was proof that weight-to-power ratio and gearing could match sheer cubic inches. Today, mint examples with original drivetrains and documentation can fetch $50,000 to $70,000, but their underdog story makes them priceless to Olds enthusiasts. Many W31S were bought by younger buyers who wanted maximum performance without the insurance penalties of a 400-plus cubic inch car. As a result, these cars were driven hard and often modified, making true survivors difficult to find. Those that remain are treasured for their unique blend of efficiency, speed, and rarity. Restoring one to factory-correct specs is a badge of honor in Oldsmobile circles. And while Oldsmobile's high-winding 350 proved you didn't need a massive motor to win, Plymouth was quietly preparing a full-size GT package with a 446-barrel that would rewrite the rules of big-bodied speed. Top 5 1969 Plymouth Sport Fury GT 446-barrel. Most people think of Plymouth's muscle cars as Barracudas or Roadrunners, but in 1969 the brand slipped a monster into its biggest body. The Plymouth Sport Fury GT 446-barrel was a luxury cruiser with the heart and appetite of a drag strip killer. The Sport Fury GT was Plymouth's flagship full-size performance coupe. From the outside, it looked like a well-appointed boulevard machine, stacked quad headlights, clean sidelines, and just enough GT badging to hint at its potential. Inside, drivers were treated to plush vinyl bucket seats, wood grain trim, and a center console that belonged more in a luxury sedan than a street brawler. But under that expansive hood lay the real surprise: Chrysler's 440 cubic inch Super Commando V8, topped with the legendary 6-barrel carburation setup, 3 Holy 2 barrels, feeding 390 gross horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. A heavy-duty Torque Flight 727 automatic or 4-speed manual sent power to an 8.3/4-inch rear with sure grip, and heavy-duty suspension and brakes kept the big body in check. Exact production numbers for the 446-barrel Sport Fury GT are scarce, but estimates suggest fewer than 500 were built with this top engine option. In the quarter mile, a well-driven 6-barrel GT could clock low 14s, shocking for a car tipping the scales at over 4,000 pounds. Today, finding one in original condition is almost impossible. Most were either raced into the ground or stripped for their high-performance engines. Fully restored examples can reach $60,000 to $80,000, but their real value lies in their obscurity. This was the definition of a hidden heavyweight, a car that could haul the family during the week and haul down the strip on weekends. Plymouth never heavily marketed it, and as a result, it became a footnote in muscle car history. For collectors who crave the unusual, the Sport Fury GT is a rare prize, representing a forgotten chapter in Mopar performance. And while Plymouth's big-bodied GT proved you could mix comfort with brute force, Pontiac's 1968 Tempest LeMans 350 HO showed how to turn an everyday intermediate into a sharp-handling, quick-revving street fighter. Top 6 1968 Pontiac Tempest LeMans 350 HO. In the late 60s, Pontiac's GTO stole all the headlines, but in its shadow lurked a sleeper that could embarrass bigger names. The 1968 Tempest LeMans 350 HO was Pontiac's quiet assassin, blending everyday practicality with a high uplift punch that left many rivals stunned at the stoplight. The LeMans was typically the sensible Pontiac, comfortable, stylish, but not a street terror. That changed with the 350 HO package. Externally, it was understated, clean A-body lines, split grille, chrome accents, and minimal badging. Inside, buyers could opt for bench or bucket seats, a wood-rim steering wheel, and rally gauge cluster, all wrapped in Pontiac's signature mix of comfort and style. The magic came from its 350 cubic inch V8, fitted with high compression heads, a hotter camshaft, and a 4-barrel carburetor. Rated at 320 gross horsepower, it was paired with close-ratio 4-speed, or heavy-duty automatic transmissions and performance rear gearing, often 3.551 or steeper. Only 3,200 LeMans models received the 350 HO package in 1968, making it far rarer than most standard GTOs of the same year. On the street, it could run the quarter mile in the mid-14s numbers that shocked anyone who assumed it was just a GTO's cheaper cousin. Today, surviving factory-correct examples can fetch $35,000 to $50,000, though many have been cloned into fake GTOs, further reducing the number of authentic survivors. The 350 HO LeMans proved that performance didn't have to come with a premium badge or cubic inch overkill. It was the kind of car a smart buyer could use as a daily driver and still dominate weekend stoplight duels. Yet, its low profile meant it never achieved the same legend status as its big brother, making it one of Pontiac's most overlooked muscle cars. But while Pontiac mastered the art of subtle speed, AMC decided to throw subtlety out the window entirely, unleashing a compact two-seater with aggressive lines and a 390 cubic inch heart that made the AMX 390 Go package a threat to anyone brave enough to line up next to it. Top 7, 1968 AMC AMX 390 Go package. In 1968, AMC walked into the muscle car war with a smirk, knowing it had something the big three didn't: a short-wheelbase, two-seat missile that could embarrass cars twice its price. This wasn't a Corvette copycat, it was AMC's bare-knuckle punch to Detroit's jaw. The AMX was unlike anything else on the streets that year, a true two-seater with a fastback profile, muscular rear haunches, and a tight 97-inch wheelbase. With the Go package, it transformed from a cool cruiser into a street predator. The package included bold racing stripes, Magnum 500 wheels, heavy-duty suspension, front disc brakes, and a limited-slip rear end. Inside, it was all business: high-back bucket seats, wood-grain dash trim, deep-set gauges, and a cabin designed around the driver. Under the hood roared AMC's flagship engine, a 390 cubic inch V8 with a 4-barrel carb, high-flow cylinder heads, and a performance camshaft, officially rated at 315 gross horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque. Only 6,725 AMXs were produced in 1968, and far fewer came equipped with the Go package, making them rare from day one. On paper, it was quick. In reality, it was downright brutal for its size. 0 to 60 came in just 6.5 seconds, and the quarter-mile disappeared in the low 14s. That's territory usually reserved for big-block Chevelles and GTOs. Today, these cars trade hands in the $45,000 to $65,000 range for pristine examples, but their value is climbing fast as AMC's underdog reputation gains collector respect. The AMX 390 Go package proved that performance didn't require a long wheelbase or a heavyweight body. AMC managed to create a muscle car that blended American straight-line electric proportions with European-style proportions. But without the marketing firepower of Ford, GM, or Chrysler, it never got the fame it deserved. Many were driven hard and forgotten, their rarity only adding to the mystique when survivors surface today. The AMX was AMC's surgical strike against the muscle car establishment: small, sharp, and quick. But while AMC was cutting with precision, Ford was preparing a blunter weapon: a big-block bruiser wearing the unassuming Fairlane badge, a machine built to dominate stoplight battles without ever breaking a sweat. Top 8 1969 Ford Fairlane Cobra 4 28 CJ. By 1969, Ford had tired of playing nice. The Fairlane Cobra 4 28 CJ wasn't here to impress you with chrome or stripes, it was here to hurt feelings. A plain mid-size coupe that looked like it belonged in a grocery store parking lot, until you noticed the hood scoop. The Cobra package transformed the Fairlane into a street-legal menace. Buyers could choose the sleek sports roof fastback or the formal two-door hardtop. Both wore understated badging, a blackout grille, and that functional Ram Air scoop feeding the engine bay. Inside, you'd find durable vinyl bench or bucket seats, an optional tachometer, and little else to distract from the business of speed. The heart of the beast was Ford's 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8. Conservatively rated at 335 gross horsepower, but delivering far more in the real world. With a Holley 4-barrel carb, high-flow heads, and a tire-melting 440 pound-feet of torque, it came mated to either a 4-speed top-loader manual or a C6 automatic, backed by Ford's bulletproof 9-inch rear axle. Production for 1969 totaled roughly 14,000 units, but true Ram Air Cobras were significantly fewer. Equipped with aggressive 3.91 or 4.3 rear gears, the Fairlane Cobra could rip through the quarter-mile in the mid-13-second range, quicker than many high-profile Mopars and Chevys. Today, values for well-preserved examples hover between $55,000 to $75,000, with concours cars edging higher as collectors rediscover their sleeper appeal. This wasn't a flashy muscle car, it was a blunt instrument. Its unassuming looks made it perfect for surprising, unsuspecting challengers, while its big block muscle gave it the authority to finish the job. But as the insurance squeeze tightened and the muscle car era began to wane, the Fairlane Cobra quietly disappeared from Ford's lineup, overshadowed by flashier models like the Torino and Mustang. And so, from AMC's nimble AMX to Ford's heavy-hitting Fairlane Cobra, the 60s muscle scene proved that speed didn't always come wrapped in the loudest package. Sometimes the quickest cars were the ones everyone forgot until they saw nothing but taillights. The question now? Which of these legends would you bring back for one more run down the quarter mile? The 60s muscle car scene was filled with household names, but the quickest machines weren't always the most famous. Some hid their speed behind understated styling, others were built in numbers so small that most enthusiasts never even saw one in person. These forgotten rockets prove that true performance can come from the most unexpected places. Today, they're not just relics of a bygone horsepower war, they're blue-chip collectibles, each with a story of rarity, engineering brilliance, and raw speed. Which of these hidden legends surprised you most, and which one would you bring back to remind the world just how quick the 60s could be?